You've had your blood work done. You've been told that everything looks normal, even though you feel exhausted, you feel bloated, you feel foggy, borderline depressed. What the heck is going on, right? Here's what most people don't realize. Normal doesn't always mean optimal. I've said it several times in my videos before. Normal doesn't mean optimal. And that also doesn't mean that what you are feeling is not real. Hi, I'm Dr. Bennett, doctor of nursing practice and founder of Vista Wellness in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. I help my patients uncover what traditional medicine often overlooks, especially when it comes to thyroid and hormone health. So if you've been dismissed, told that you are fine, but you know deep down something isn't right somewhere, then this video is for you. So what does normal really mean? Normal means that the lab ranges were taken from people who were extremely unwell and from people who were well and people who were right in between, and they kind of took the average, put it together, and they say this is what the normal ranges look like. But again, normal doesn't always mean optimal. So the problem is that these labs don't take into account individual experiences that people may have. They only look at the surface and give you a number, but to get down to the root of the problem, you have to dig a little bit deeper. And most often in traditional labs, or when you go to see your primary care provider and they run labs, they'll do TSH. But the problem with TSH is that it tells us how hard your brain is working and not how optimal your thyroid is functioning. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is produced by the pituitary gland in the brain. And that gland senses how much thyroid hormone is in your bloodstream, and it will send a signal to the thyroid to produce more or to tone it down a little depending on the level that's in your blood. But sometimes that signal can be lost in translation. So the brain could send the signal and the thyroid doesn't receive it. Just like everything we know, even technology, right? Your cell phone doesn't always get the right signal. But the brain could send the signal and your thyroid doesn't receive it, and then the thyroid does not perform the way that it's supposed to. So you could have that normal TSH level, but you don't have optimal levels of your thyroid to help you feel better. But here at Vista Wellness, we go further than just the TSH. We look at the T4. The T4 is produced by the thyroid and it's an inactive hormone. Your body has to take that T4 and convert it into T3 for you to be able to utilize that. So I always tell people it's like having firewood without a lighter. If you have the firewood, but your body doesn't have that lighter to light that firewood, you are not going to be able to burn it to create energy, to create heat, or to do whatever you needed to do to burn that firewood for, right? So that's the same thing. You could have T4, but if your body doesn't have the right ingredients or the right catalyst to be able to ignite that T4 to convert it into T3, which T3 is the actual useful form of the thyroid hormone, then you have a problem. So we don't only look at the TSH, we look at the T3, the T4, we go deeper to look at the TPO. The TPO are antibodies that the thyroid produces based on your immune level, or your immune health, I would say. So sometimes when you start producing the TPO antibodies, it's when the thyroid gets a little confused and it produces these antibodies, but then it turns around and it looks at those antibodies as foreign, and then it starts to attack it. So I say sometimes the thyroid behaves like a cat that's looking at itself in the mirror and maybe fighting the mirror because it thinks that there's another cat in the house, right? So that's what the TPO antibodies would give us about the thyroid, and the thyroid would often do that and start to attack itself. And when it does that, then it kind of causes, significant damage as it goes along. Besides the TSH, T3, T4, TPO, we're also looking at all of your other hormones in the body, like your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone. With the testosterone, we're not just looking at the total, we're looking at the free testosterone, we're looking at the bioavailable testosterone. And we also look at the DHEA and your cortisol level. This tells us how well your adrenal glands are functioning, and it also gives us some of your stress markers as well. All of these things, they tend to affect your thyroid. Your hemoglobin A1C, your insulin level for your metabolic health, all of that affects your thyroid hormone as well. So the full picture really allows us to truly understand what's going on. That way we can craft a plan for you that really works for your health. So just looking fine on paper doesn't mean that your body is doing well. So again, why don't I just treat, labs? I don't just treat labs because the people behind these labs have a different story to tell. So when someone says, I can't focus or think clearly, my energy is gone, I've gained so much weight, but I didn't really change anything, in my lifestyle, my routines. And sometimes I just don't feel like my body, anymore. It feels a little off. That's when we take science, we look at the science, we look at the labs, we look at the person, we put it together and we formulate a plan, that works for you. So when people come to me with symptoms, I do take those symptoms seriously. I want to listen. I want to find a way to be able to help them resolve your issues. So your symptoms matter so much. It's not just the lab results. Whatever your symptoms are, that really plays an important role in getting an overall plan that would work for you. So we are a little bit more holistic. We're data-driven, but we also look at the patient. We do functional lab testing. We understand hormone interactions, not just the levels. We map out the symptoms and patterns in your life that can help give us a better picture. So again, addressing the full pictures, all your thyroid hormones, we're looking at your other sex hormones, looking at your adrenal gland, looking at your gut health, looking at your insulin, helps us put it all together. So no matter your age or your identity, if your body isn't functioning at its best, we try our very best to help you find out why that is happening. So again, if your labs are normal, but you don't feel normal, it is not all in your head. It is just incomplete care. And you want to be able to make sure you go all the way to the end. You find complete care for your symptoms. So I would say book your hormone consultation here at Vista Wellness. That way we can start to look at you as a whole person, look at the entire body. So call us 904-800-4003. You can visit us on the website vistawellnessfl.com. Subscribe, like this video, hit the bell notification so you don't miss another video from us. Please share with someone who deserves to feel heard, someone who deserves full support as they go on their health journey. Now on that note, till we meet again.